Okay, welcome back to the CNO Show. This is Othello Boucher. I've got Chris Lingbach in here with you. On the line, we have a pretty cool guest. He's 4-2 in the UFC, and he'll be taking on DeMarcus Johnson this Saturday at UFC Fight Night Seattle. Amir Sadollah joins the show. Amir, what's up, man?
What's up, man?
Hey, how you guys doing?
Good.
Thanks for joining the show. First and foremost, I got to wish you a happy Iranian New Year. I know you're Iranian. I think it was this Sunday, right?
Yeah, it was.
Did you do anything cool for it?
No, it came and went, and I didn't even know about it until that day. I was talking to my dad, and he told me I should probably be more on top of that. I'm never invited to the parties anymore.
My girlfriend's Iranian, and it's a huge deal every single year.
Yeah. It's always a good time.
Is there an Iranian Dick Clark that hosts the countdown?
Yes, his name is Hassan Nassar.
I'm Googling her.
Very laid back.
Yeah, is she on Google?
So, I assume you're all done with training. I mean, the fight's coming up in about 4 days. Is that true?
Yeah. What is it? Wednesday? I don't know what day it is. Yeah. Pretty much. All the work to speak of is done, but now the focus is just kind of getting weight down. A lot of sweat work and just kind of. Yeah. Explain
that process to me. I ask every fighter that I interview this question. What is cutting weight for you like? And I mean, obviously it's probably a miserable process, but what type of stuff can you eat, and what kind of exercises do you do?
Everybody does it differently, but essentially cutting weight is just dehydrating the last few pounds you need to make your weight class. So usually it consists of just really watching your diet, no sodium, anything that would retain water, and just kind of putting on plastics or sitting in a sauna and just kind of just physically sweating out.
So like no.
It is not fun. No, not at all.
So like no potbelly sandwiches with extra hot peppers or anything.
No, man. It's like, are you kidding me? Like, it gets to the point where you don't even care about food anymore. You just want water. That is not fun.
So is it literally just plain vegetables, no flavor, no nothing? You just get stuff in your system to get it in there?
Yeah, I'll try to have stuff that's kind of basically like a lot of energy in a small package, like nuts or maybe even dark chocolate isn't that bad, but there's some oats, just something really simple.
Right.
Yeah, nothing fun.
Amir, the first time you ever had to do that for a professional fight, did you to make it easier on yourself, did you kind of imagine yourself as like a method actor getting deep into a role, and that just allowed you to do these insane things, and then you just got addicted to that character?
Yeah, it's funny. I based my entire fight career out of pretty much just picturing myself as Christian Bale.
The machinist, right. So tell me what type of stuff you fine-tuned to prepare for this fight. I mean, it was supposed to be Dwayne Ludwig at first, then James Wilkes, now DeMarcus Johnson. I mean, has that thrown you off at all in preparing for this?
It's not the ideal, but it definitely happens. It's not out of the norm. And coming from the Ultimate Fighter, that's what I liked about it, was I felt it kind of prepared you for all these kind of crazy situations that just happen. And fighting somebody on short notice is nothing new. You obviously, I like to train for my strengths. Like I like to be familiar with the guy that I'm fighting and what he's good at and what he's not good at. But at the end of the day, you got to make it your fight. So you just want to be training the entire time anyway for what works for you.
Right. But when did you find out that you were going to be fighting DeMarcus Johnson?
2 weeks ago, actually.
Ugh. I mean, isn't that like no time at all? Because I understand that you're training, but every fighter is different. So you have to maybe work on your ground game to prepare for one guy, or work on your Muay Thai. So I mean, obviously, I'm not a fighter, so I don't know what it's like training for it. But just thinking about it, it's got to be a little frustrating that you only had 2 weeks to prepare for this certain guy.
Yeah, but fortunately, I had been training for a fight anyway, and the biggest obstacle, I think, is just kind of getting in physical shape.
Right.
That's what takes the most time. But yeah, it's not ideal, but it's definitely the idea is that you practice all areas and all situations. So it's just an adjustment rather than a whole change of game plan.
Well, one of the other things too, Amir, is and I think one of the ways to flip that to your advantage is, it's the same thing for the guy that you're fighting. I mean,
exactly.
If he hasn't prepared for you, then it's really it's a two-way street.
Yeah, it's an even playing field. You kind of look at it like that too. Yeah.
Let me ask you this: you're 4-2, and you fought 6 times in the last 3 years. What do you have to do to get more fights? And is there something that is that something that you're pushing for? Because to me, I mean, I would feel like it's driving me nuts. You want to fight, you want to get out there, you want to get your name on TV.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, it's Well, in my case, it was a little kind of a rough start. The entire first year after the show, I had a couple fights I had to pull out of last-minute injuries, so I was kind of a year behind already. And then since then, they've definitely kept me busy. 6 fights in 2 years isn't outlandish in this sport. That's pretty much the norm. But if I had my way, I think it'd be cool to fight, tournaments and fight every 2 months or so. But it is what it is, and I have no complaints.
Amir, I was doing my show prep earlier, and I looked you up on Wiki, Twitter, all that stuff. I should be following you. I am following you now, but I saw that your description on Twitter at Amir MMA says winner of the Ultimate Fighter 7. Topped out after that. That's funny.
That myself.
That's funny, but is that really something you believe, man?
No, I hope not.
Why do you think you wrote that up there?
I don't know. If you look at most of my tweets, you got to kind of hope that I don't believe most of what I say.
Right. I love the self-deprecating humor, man. That's awesome. Especially because for a fighter, most fighters are so cocky and so confident.
The alpha males.
Funny to see that side of them. That's what I think is great about you. You're a Richmond guy. How crazy is it to see VCU and Richmond making this extreme run in the towards the Final Four? And if they're basically both just one win away. Now it's not likely that Richmond's going to beat Kansas, but they're basically one win away from duking it out against each other at a chance for the Final Four. How nuts is this? 2 Richmond teams, man.
Yeah, that's really cool. I don't follow it closely, but I heard about it, and yeah, that's pretty cool. I think it's great they even got that far.
Amir, I looked at your record and I saw that I remember watching on The Ultimate Fighter, and most of your wins came by knockout and submission. Since you started fighting in the UFC, I'd say the majority of your wins, fights in general, have gone to decision. Why do you think there's been that change? Do you think that the competition is so much harder in the UFC as opposed to the show?
Yeah, I'm not gonna. There's always room for improvement, and I don't make excuses. At the end of the day, whatever happens or doesn't happen is totally up to you and what you made happen. But at the same time, there's the level of guys I fought just continues to go up. So when you fight somebody that's good at what they do and they don't want something to happen, it's a challenge. But yeah, I think you can't really go into a fight trying to finish. You have to go into a fight just fighting, and what happens.
If DeMarcus Johnson, I think he's had 20 fights and only 2 of them have gone to decision. How do you see this fight going on Saturday?
Yeah. It's I think he's an exciting fighter and pretty well rounded. So I'm expecting a really good fight, and I'm pumped about it.
How are you going to put him away?
If I give him too much game plan away, I'd like to fight him.
Right. Okay, cool. Well, I know you got to go.
Hit him with some hands.
Shin kicks, right? Yeah. Backflips, all that stuff.
Well, last question before we let you go. The main event that night, Phil Davis versus Nogueira. Who do you have in that?
Yeah, that's an interesting matchup. Phil Davis has really looked amazing recently, but little Nog, you can't ever count him out.
Right.
Same thing with his brother, So that'll be a very interesting matchup. I'm curious.
Okay, well, again, Amir Sadollah fights this Saturday, UFC Fight Night Seattle live on Spike TV. Follow him at Amir MMA. Amir, thanks so much for the time, man. We wish you the best of luck.
Thanks, guys.
All right, buddy.
What's up, dude?